Hey everybody, welcome to JK Next Garage. I know it's been a while. So anyways, got this floor pan finally figured out. Got it on the frame rails and all screwed up. So anyways, show you the frustrations we've had with that and how we got it worked out and all put together. So stay tuned for that and we'll... Alright, so we're going to get this old trunk floor off of the body cart here, and I'm just going to show you a couple things of tape I put on there. So this is just kind of to give me a reference, close enough, see how the new frame rails and trunk floor pan line up. So this is actually supposed to be here towards the front of this, so from here to right where the trunk floor pan meets, same on this side. So obviously I've got that one marked left outer and this one right inner, just because it's all gnarled up there. So my thought is that this shifted or did something when we cut it all out of here. I don't know if it came together, went apart a little bit, whatever, but we'll see what it does with the new one. You know, I know the new ones aren't, you know, perfect and everything, so yeah. Okay, so let's get this floor pan off of here and start putting the new pieces and parts on. All right, let's get into it. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This thing has been a pain in the butt here since I started trying to put this together. To get to this point of making this part of the video, I've been easily every night out here taking leveling and trying to find the centers and making sure that everything's back and forth is right, everything's front and back is right, because I think this is a pretty crucial part of the puzzle here. The problem is you have the two frame rails and the floor pan. You got three pretty much rigid pieces of steel that are not all stamped exactly together like they're, you know, like the original in the floor over there. Come down the factory and they've got ways of putting it all together the same way. So bends aren't exactly the same. Neither frame rail is bent exactly the same as the other one with angles and stuff like that. So anyways, it's been a couple weeks of just measuring and leveling and stuff like that. Here we are. First thing I did is I got my body cart. My body cart is right back. You can see I don't know if you can see the marks there, but it's right back where it was sitting with the car on it. And it's all leveled up. I've got that side of the measuring stick right there, which is about, goes all the way to the back part of the body cart. That's the center line of the body right there. And then I've got the center mark of the trunk floor. I don't know if you can see it, it's just a pencil mark right there. And then in the back I've got the center mark. You probably can't, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not, but right there is the center. So I take my 4-foot level and leveled up. Got my clamps and stuff in case I need them for squishing this down, because I'm going to show you that this ain't so great with the angles and fitting so good. So anyways, as you can see, I got some cross straps in here. I just tied them to the body cart to pull the frame rails in right here. This one needed to go that way a little bit and the other one needed to come back. So that's how I did that. And then I just ran some screws here and up here for right now on both sides. I don't know if I can get that up on the other side there. Yeah, you can see I got 4 screws on this side, 4 screws on the other side, because once I got it into place, I put all these clamps on there so that it would stay in place. I'm going to leave these on the back here, but now we can start screwing and working our way back, pushing all the excess metal, I guess it is, to the back. That's what Jonathan suggested on Vinyl Village Garage, so I'm gonna give it a whirl. So Yeah, so as you can see, you can just kind of gnarled up here and here. I drilled out the spot welds, that this was spot welded to the plate in the back, and as you can see, that lip actually popped out a little bit because it was at such an angle on the floor pan underneath here that kept it way high. I mean, when I clamped that down, this whole back end came up probably an inch or so. So anyways, I cut those spot welds to relieve a little bit of that pressure, so when I clamped it down, it had some room to move here, because it is a solid piece up inside here, and when this part of the floor pan is attached to it, it doesn't give it any wiggle room at all for when you're clamping it down. So that's just something I did. Just going over what I'm doing. I'm just going to show you some of the measurements I took. All right, so I've got it pretty much centered here off of the jig here, the body cart, whatever. So I guess what I'm going to show you is I've got my marks. You can see that right there, that black mark, and there's one right there, I think right there. So it's fairly square, not too bad. So obviously I got the center mark there, and I leveled it off my stick there. I know these aren't exactly true here on these bends on both sides, but I did as a reference. I just wanted to see how close it was from the frame rail right here out to here, and right now I'm pretty dang close. I'm within a 32nd, and that's just a rough measurement, but I'm within a 32nd on both sides, which is good. And then for my center in the back here, what I did is obviously I found the center of the floor pan, and then I centered from the inside of the frame rail here and the inside of the frame rail here to make sure, measured both ways to make sure I was centered on my frame rails. And my frame rails are centered on these holes for the most part. I'm going to say I might be out maybe not even an eighth. So that's how I found that. All right, so one of the measurements I took to make sure that my shackle bolts or shackle bushings or whatever are going to be in the right spot, because I don't want this thing dog-legging down the road, is you got to make sure that that's square. Whether you take crisscross measurements or however you can determine, but it's got to be straight. And I'm just going to show you what I did. Is I took the points from here and there. Those are the little studs that go up inside the torque boxes on the front of the firewall, and I ran that tape measure all the way back to the center of the shackle bolts, and then I took from the center of the shackle bolt back that way, took those measurements, and I am right on. I can't remember what the measurements were, but that's the other thing, is trying to make sure that these frame rails are exactly where they need to be. And I know they're straight in relation to my body cart. I even took some measurements from the little pins that are inside here that the frame rails are sitting on in there. Crisscross those measurements as well, and then took from there back. I mean, I was really taking strings and everything, but I don't know, that's just what I do. I mean, but like I always say, I can never have too many measurements, and I'm not trying to be perfect with this thing. I'm really not. I want to be within tolerance, what's acceptable, and the only way I really know how to do that is to go by what I had. And that's why I try to get this as close as possible to what I had. It's not about being a perfectionist, which I've been accused of, by Kelly sometimes. But anyways, it's just that I don't want to screw this up, and if I can get it as close back to the original as possible, I know I'll be good. So it's not about trying to be perfect. It's just never doing this before. I don't know, you know. So anyways, so the problem with these frame rails is that, and it's not the same on both sides either, is this is a pretty nice, I mean, yeah, you can see the gap right here. It's not bad, you know, put a bunch of screws in, suck it down. But on the back side, it is way much bigger. Way much bigger. Anyways, I'll see if I can get in here to see that. But you can see that gap is, geez, the gap's like about I don't know, about maybe 3/8, quarter to 3/8. That's a lot bigger. Over on that side, it's not, I mean, it's an 1/8 inch over there. That I believe I can suck down. But what that's going to do, and what it did do when I put the one screw on that side, was, and I don't know if you can see at this, it kicks it over, it like twists it like that. So this one is twisted a little bit too like that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them straps off and I'm going to put them here, because this one is raised up a little bit, as you can see, I think right there. So we'll get the strap on this and get it down. And this frame rail here, I don't know, maybe you can see that gap. I got a little bit of a gap here between my riser piece here, I don't know, there, and the bottom of the frame rail. That, as you can see, I got a strap on that. I just got to cinch that down a little bit. The other side's not too bad, so I don't think it's actually up too much. It's actually sitting right on there, which is good. But as you can see, I drilled out these spot welds, and I got that angle back right, and I don't know, you probably can't see my line, but this side was way over this way. I mean, it's probably, you probably can't see my little pencil line, but it was way over here. So I drilled those out, got the angle right, and re-welded that back on there. I know, it's, why not just leave it and, you know, deal with it later? Well, I don't know, it's just what I do. These here, these gas tank strap things, this is pretty thin metal. This can be pounded one way or another, so I'm not too concerned about that. So all this stuff that I'm fighting, and of course these tabs here, those were way bent in. They were like a 1/4 inch difference from here to here than this one was from here to here. So I straightened those out, rebent them, and now I'm within 1/16th to a 32nd of my distance from here to just to this corner here, something to measure off of, that bend. So I'm happy with that. All this stuff takes time, and you gotta just take your time and be patient. And when you start getting frustrated, like I was, just walk away from it, you know. Walk away from it, do something else. I don't know, clean some parts, or just go out, mow the lawn. That's what I ended up doing, of course. But yeah, you got to get away from it, even if for a few days or a week, and just think about it. But, you know, don't get out here and get too frustrated, or you're just going to throw your arms up and say, I've had it. I just about got to that point here. So that's about it for right now. I'm going to keep screwing these back, taking these clamps off. Yeah, and I did screw it down once already after I squared it up, and now Kelly and I are putting the screws back in. The reason I took it off is I wanted to coat the inside with some epoxy primer, but so I think I'm going to rethink part of this body cart and jig and stuff. I'm going to modify it a little bit. I think I'm going to use, instead of using the straps to hold these down, because these frame rails did not want to sit down all the way. I think they're like an 1/8 inch off or so. And so I think I'm going to weld a piece on here and use the spring shackle bolt to keep that sucked down, maybe on another project, hopefully. But anyways, just wanted to show you kind of what we're just replacing the screws. This floor pan must have been dropped on the corner or something, because it was way out of whack. And I'll show you what I got to do to get this thing squared up. I was trying to find my center line here. This side is the center, and I've got it marked right there where the center is, so it's supposed to be something like that right there. And I could not get the back and forth in the front here and back and forth in the back there to line up. And this side would come up, or that side would go down, or vice versa. It was killing me. Of course, the frame rails, this one here was not bent as much as that one up in the front right here. So yeah, so that held it off of the pad back here like a 1/2 inch. So yeah, and then of course my floor pan, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's sitting up a little bit right there, so I just got to clamp that down. And so what I had to do was I had to get this front somewhat square, and you can see where I had already drilled holes and then had to plug them. And same thing over here, because it wasn't lined up right. And then finally I got it squared with the, you saw I had some straps in here before, and then got the right holes in there and plugged the other ones up. So yeah, so I did have to put just a little bit more bend in here. So now I'm only an 1/8 inch up there, which I got the strap on there holding that down, straps holding that down. So it matched this other side exactly the same way, because this side sat up off of this pad here about an 1/8 inch also. So now they're both exactly the same. I know it's a lot of information, but so here's what I had to do is I had to screw down the very front of it and then put this strap on here to slide it over to hold it, because even just clamping it, it wouldn't stay. So clamped it. You can see my center mark right here. So then I run my 4-foot level up here, because this side is the center mark of the frame, the jig there. So anyways, that's where we're at. Kelly's doing that side, I'm doing this side. I'll bring you along when we get this all screwed down, and yeah, I'll take these clamps off and we'll see where we're at. All right, well, pardon the noise, but I just can't get back far enough with the garage door shut. So all right, now when I made this body cart or jig or whatever you want to call it, I left some space from my little angle bracket right there where the frame rail sits. I left about a 1/4 inch or so of room, maybe a little bit more, so I was able to put in spacers if I needed them, and it turns out that I did. So on this one here, I have a 3/16 piece of well, spacer, washer, whatever, and a 16th size washer in there. So, and then over here I've got just a 3/16 washer over there. I don't know, you probably can't see it, it's right up inside there. And then of course my threaded rod that goes all the way through, and you can see that it's centered up on the shackle bolt holes there. So that's how I figured out my center of my frame rails, and the distance between the two frame rails are exactly the same, if not maybe just a 16th off of these original ones. So I think that's pretty close enough. The bumper holes here line up with, are right in the center of my frame rails, so you can see those. So anyways, that's how I found the center of my frame rails. I did have that to take a measurement, get a reference, so I knew pretty close to what I was going to be measuring here. So all right, well, I guess while I'm talking about me taking my measurement from this frame rail, between the frame rails here on this old one, I can kind of show you. So what I did is I took my measurement from basically right on this edge here, which is the back of the shackle bushing, right back in there, right on that edge too, and then here did the same thing. So I just butted it up to here. So I just butted it up to here, right there, all the way across to right there, just basically the same spot. And that measurement was 43 inches on the old one. Now the new one, I'm at like 42 and 15/16, and that's gonna have to be good enough, but that's where the bumper holes line up and everything else squared up and lined up, so I think that's good enough. So all right, well, these measurements aren't set in stone. Maybe they'll help you if you don't have a trunk pan anymore or frame rails to measure off of. You can start out with the 43 or the 42 and 7/8 like the factory manual says, but I know there's variations. That's what Jonathan says at Vinyl Village Garage, that they're not all the same, which I totally agree with him on that. If he should know, he's built enough cars between him and Louis. So anyways, maybe that'll get you started with your project if you don't have any measurements to go by yet. So anyways, let's get to screwing this floor pan down the rest of the way. Alright, as you can see, we've got it all screwed up now. So got the straps off the front, got them off the back, and we'll see how level we ended up here. Kind of hard to do this with one hand and get it leveled up there. So I don't know if you can see that right on the mark there for the most part. All right, well, we're level there, so yeah, right there. So I'm about I would say about a 32nd maybe. It shifted back, but I'm not complaining with that. So anyways, I'll get these bolts off of the shackle bushing spot, and we'll see how bad that frame rail came up, if it stayed down so that I'm still at an 1/8 inch, or if we got an issue here. So all right, took the little bolts out here. So this was my spacer right here, these two on that side and that one on that side. So anyways, underneath here you can see a little bit of a gap there, not too bad. And this side, a little bit of a gap, about the same. So I think we're sitting all right. Front side sitting down right there, and this side over here sitting down. So yeah, yep. So anyway, so all in all, we're looking okay right now. I did shift over in the back here a little bit when I took those bolts out, but I think we can work with that. Not too bad. So, all right, let's move on. All right, got the trunk floor off of the body cart or jig or whatever you want to call it, and we put the car obviously in the middle of the garage now. Took the body cart out back, and now we got a little bit of prepping left to do underneath the car here. I'll get this prepped up and bring you along for that and what we did there. And then we gotta make a bracket here to lift this trunk floor. Probably just put some bracing across here and stuff, and then we can lift it up underneath the car with the jack. So bring you along for that. This video is getting kind of long, and I apologize for that, but well, you know how it goes. That's what we do here. So all right, let's get underneath the car prepped. All right, so under the car, needed to put these J clips in for the bolts for the spring pockets, and then I was just, you know, screwing these in to make sure they were straight. A little bit of wiggle, which is good. This one, get it in there. That one's fine too. So now I need to put them over there on that side. So go over there and get those put in, and I'll show you what we got. All right, so the J clip here. Boy, you think you want to put it in that way, but you don't. You gotta put it with that up there like that. So these things aren't really that easy to get in there. So I just got a flathead screwdriver to kind of open it up and help it a little bit, hopefully. There we go. I got little pliers here to help bail it. There we go. Oof. That's pretty tight. I don't know if you can see that right there, but it's really tight. It's almost like this is too wide right here between the top and the bottom. I'm gonna take that out. You've probably seen the scratches from before. I did put this in before, but I wanted to show you what the issue was with it. Cripes, maybe I can get this thing out of here. There we go. So I had this issue. I did this before, but I wanted to catch it on film. This is too wide right here. So I got the same thing with this. You can see I tried it before, and it's just a little too wide here. So I'm gonna get a bit, a little grinding bit on my drill. I don't know what you call a deburr bit or something like that, and just take a little bit of this off right here and see if we can't get these in to make them a little bit more free, so we can I wasn't even going to be able to get this up in there. So all right, let's nibble that out and see what we got. My little deburring bit. I don't know if you can see that. All right, let's see, even this up a little bit. All right. Let's see what we got here. That thing went every time. There we go. Now let's see what we got going on here. This is, oh yeah, look at that. So much easier. A little bit of play. Goes right up in there, no problem now. Goes up there, no problem now. I'm going to do the same thing to this, And then that'll be it. The whole purpose of this was show you what might need to be done. You might want to do it now before you go putting your floor pan in and trying to put those spring pockets in, and figuring out that you gotta take everything back down and get these ready to go. So, all right, I'll get this one done and I'll bring you back after that. All right, so I nibbled this out a little bit right here, and my bolt does not go up through here. This little hole right here that bolt goes up through is like a 1/16 inch out too far. Is it a 1/16 out too far? Yeah. So my bolt won't go up there without it going in at an angle towards the outside. So, and when I say it's a 1/16 too far out this way, that's because I took a measurement from the other one on the other side that fits in just fine, and it's like 3/4 to the center from here on that one, and it's like 13/16 to the center on this one. So I'm going to take this back out, and I've tried a couple different springs just to see if that was the problem, but it's not. So what I need to do is I need to nibble a little bit out going this way on that side, see if I can get that bolt up through there. I don't like having to do anything with that hole, but it's almost like just starting into this radius right here. So I don't know, we'll give it a shot. All right, let's see if that does it. I don't like taking out that hole because it's a nice, God darn it, every single time. One of these times, I'm going to put one of these things in backwards and not even realize it until I go to put a bolt in. All right, so let's see what we got now. Hopefully this will go in straight now. So. That's better. That's a lot better. Might need to nibble it just a little bit more, but yeah, that's a whole lot better. Before I couldn't even get the threads before it started really cranking down on the going the one way. So anyway, so I'll probably just nibble a little bit more on that. Don't need to bring you along for that. Probably. But anyway, so, and really if you can see the spring pockets, they got a pretty big hole here. This one goes into the frame rail J hook, and then of course this one here goes back like this. So everything's gonna line up okay right here, and that's what you want. You need a little bit of need that to fit in there. So all right, I'll take care of this, get these spring pocket, get these J hooks in, and all right, then we'll go on to the next thing. All right, next thing we got to do is we got to prep this right here. We got to cut a little bit out of this. That is for the drain cover for the rocker panel here. I forgot to do that before, so I'm just gonna use my gold Sharpie, set it up here. Let's try and get kind of a center or whatever. So there, up here, and right there. So we'll just trim this out a little bit here. So I got one of my favorite tools that has really been a lifesaver, my Dremel tool. I'll bring it back after I get done with that because I don't want the sparks hitting the camera. Alright, so well, maybe not the straightest cut in the world, but you know, once this flap goes on there, and I've got some new ones that'll go on there, it'll be just fine. So yep, so I'll get this vacuumed up. Get this, get some anti-rust spray on here for now till we get to the bottom, to finishing the bottom. We'll go over, do the other side, cut this out for the other side. Won't bring you along for that. And yeah, then we'll get this video finished up. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up for this edition of getting this trunk floor pan ready to go and fit up under the car. It's been a very mentally frustrating part of this project. I needed to take a few weeks off just to get my bearings back and really kind of figure out whether or not I was going to be able to finish this project. So I did. That's what you need to do sometimes, just step away. So worked through it. Hopefully this helps you with some of your issues you're having with your trunk floor pan. But yeah, so appreciate your patience, sticking with us, and like always, thanks for coming along, and we'll see you on the next one.